Notre Dame here for the first time since 1991. And O.J. McDuffie had a monster night against the Fighting Irish in 1991. And I remember at Luke Holt's post-game news conference, it was the day Joe Paterno passed Woody Hayes in all-time victories. And he goes, boy, they hit us with that reverse, and that guy made us look slow.
Well, I tell you what, it was amazing because I'm not a fast guy, but I had a little bit of speed there. It's what we call game speed a lot of times. And Tony Sacca leading the reverse. Tony Sacca, our quarterback, was leading the play and made a great block for me. I got a chance to get in the end zone.
And ended up blowing out Notre Dame that night. I believe it was 36-6. It was not even close whatsoever. But there is kind of something, a nice buzz in the room when Notre Dame's in town. I mean, it's the Fighting Irish, for crying out loud.
Oh, no matter what. It's always fun to come back and play against Notre Dame because these guys are, their history makes you want to play well against them. No matter what the record is, no matter what happened last week, you want to go out there and play well against a team like Notre Dame. And, of course, everybody remembers what happened last year against Notre Dame.
Kenny, that does stick with you a little bit. I mean, Joe Paterno, admittedly this week, we'll be looking at this a little bit later in the hour. That loss last year sticks in his craw, and he says, we didn't help out. It did not help our guy Anthony Morelli out last year. They really want some redemption tonight.
Especially with that fake punt. When Notre Dame had the game in hand, they had a fake punt. That really wasn't necessary, but Charlie, coming from a pro background, I could see he's trying to stick the dagger in us and making sure he won the game so he didn't have anything happen. But, it's important for Penn State to play well. This is their second game. I think they will play well. And I know Notre Dame's going to play a lot better than people think.
I think one thing, too, to catch up with some of the former players. You're down in Miami, had a long career with the Dolphins. You're in our business, right?
Yes.
Do a little radio?
Yeah, I love this side of the thing. But the only problem is a lot of guys don't want to communicate with me a lot of times because they think I'm a snitch. I'm not a media guy. I'm still a player at heart, but I enjoy being able to go out there and hang out with the fellas in the media market.
So I remember the kickoff classic, one of the greatest catches I've ever seen. Do you remember his catch against Georgia Tech, that acrobatic thing?
Not only did he have
that was unbelievable.
Great catches, but he also had some great catches in pro football. Played a long career with the Dolphins. Good friend of mine. Only thing I'm upset about, I didn't have a chance to coach him in college. I didn't get here early enough to coach you because you're one of the greatest that ever played here.
Well, Kenny, you're the one that laid it out. You laid it out for us, man. How many guys can claim two-time All-American at the wideout position at Penn State at a time we never threw the ball? Nobody can do that. You are a two-time All-American, and we didn't even throw the rock around. So impressive stuff, and I wish I would have had a chance to play for you. I wish. Honestly, I do.
It's good to have you back. I know it's good for you. You always come back in State College. You always spend a lot of time here, especially around the players. You always go back over to the locker room. Tell us about what it was like yesterday. You and Kajana went back to listen to one of Joe's team meetings. Well,
it was amazing. Joe Paterno, he's the ultimate guy when it comes to, getting guys ready to play the game. And to talk to these guys and listen to them talk to these guys and bring guys in like Kurt Warner was there, Kajana and myself, we were there. And for these guys to hear how we had it back then and how well they have it now, I think they appreciate what Joe is doing now. And he always finds a way to get you motivated. I was ready to strap it up yesterday and play. I wish I had eligibility left.
Yeah, you see this atmosphere right out here, and it just does get you fired up, doesn't it?
I mean, how can it not? 109,000, it's probably 300,000 around here. Only 100 can go to the game, though. So the rest of them are watching in the parking lot or in a local bar. So it's an amazing atmosphere. Everybody's here for one of the biggest games. I don't care what Notre Dame did last week. It doesn't matter. This is a big game no matter what you think about it because it's Penn State versus Notre Dame, two great traditions.
I hope it never stops. I know this might be the last game, but it's important. I think it's so good for college football to have rivalries like that, and I hope it'll continue to play.
It's huge, big time.
I think, OJ, too, when Penn State joined the Big Ten, if there's one game that the fans have missed, it is the Notre Dame game. But they cut the series short so Penn State could join the Big Ten a few years early. It was not going to be until the 1995 season that Penn State was going to get into the league, but they elected to join in 1993, and two series that went and got shortened were Notre Dame and USC. And I think the fans have missed having Notre Dame around. Notre Dame's a lightning rod. We know that, especially up here. And when you're around some of the places last week, that's great seeing Notre Dame, but get beat or whatever. But when you got Notre Dame in the house, there's just a different buzz in the air.
It's so important that we continue to play teams with great traditions. Notre Dame, I had a chance to get recruited by Notre Dame. I decided to come to Penn State because it was the best thing for me. But when you play at this level, you want to play against the best. They will always have good football teams. It doesn't matter, like we're trying to say, the score's not important. What happened last week is not important. The most important thing is what's going to happen today. And they will always have good football teams.
OJ, you know, that's why you come to a place like Penn State. It's to play in big games. The blimp is here, you know? I mean, it's a national TV game. This is why you're here.
No doubt about it. I mean, it's an amazing place to play, for one. You're playing for an amazing coach. You're playing in front of 110,000 people. And on top of that, you know, you do play a great schedule. Being in the Big Ten is an amazing schedule for these guys. When you add guys like Notre Dame in your non-conference schedule, that's exactly why you come to Penn State.
There's no doubt about that. So Penn State is a big favorite. How do you guard against that as a player, guys? I mean, you try and insulate yourself. I mean, they're listed as a 17.5-point favorite, but nobody's buying it in that Penn State locker room, are they?
What do you think, OJ?
No, definitely not. Definitely you don't buy into this at all. Notre Dame is mad now. They lost a big game at home against Georgia Tech last week, so they're going to come in a little angry. They're going to be a little mad now. And, of course, Charlie Weiss had a great week of practice getting these guys prepared for another game. So they've got to find a way to bounce back. So if the players buy into the fact that Notre Dame is not a ranked team, that they got beat at home, they're going to get killed tonight. So they've got to go in there thinking that this is the same game they've been waiting for all season. A lot of times in the offseason, you don't even prepare for the first week of the games. You prepare for the first big game. And I'm sure Penn State's preparing for the first big game, which is Notre Dame, a long time ago.
And obviously you think about last year. Kenny, that does stick with you. You know, when you get, as Joe Paterno always says, we got our ears kicked in. Well, you know, he doesn't have to say anything tonight to motivate his guys. I'm sure he's going to have his usual gentle reminders, you can be assured, in the locker room coming out. But, you know, this stays with you.
Oh, it stays with you. But you have to understand, Notre Dame had the tough week. Penn State kids might be a little cocky. They have to control their emotions and understand Notre Dame is a much better football team than what we saw last week. It's a total different night. Every week it's different. And I think Coach Paterno was fighting that. I think that's the thing he's scared of, that the kids are overconfident. Because believe me, 17 points is a lot in any game. But especially between a rivalry like Penn State and Notre Dame, great coaches on both sides of the field, it's going to be an exciting night.
You know, let's go back real quick to that 1991 game again, OJ. That was a year, you know, Penn State, that was kind of a proving ground, you know, are they back, are they not? And that was a big game in the grand scheme of things, because that really set up some nice runs around here, you know, later on. It all culminated, I think, in 94, 95 a little bit, but it all kind of got started that night, if you ask me.
Yeah, it definitely did. I mean, big game, playing against a big-time team in a big stage, kind of like tonight. It really is kind of like tonight. It was more of a night game, you know, playing against a great Notre Dame team at that time. And we actually went out there and put some good things together. So this team is young, and they haven't played in a big game. That was Joe's big speech yesterday. A lot of you guys haven't played in a big game yet. This is a big game. No matter how you slice it, this is a big game. So these guys have a chance to put themselves on the map. They're sitting in a perfect position, in the ranking, playing against some good teams down the road, and just creep and crawl and continue to take care of their business is what is important.
Yeah, and also, you know, back then, you know, when they last met in 1991, Penn State and Notre Dame were the two big independent schools, and the game was always in November. It was always like late in the year. It was a little colder than it is here tonight. You know, we're about 87 or 88. OJ, you're down in Miami a lot, played in Miami. Let's do a little game thing here. What about preparing and playing in this heat? Now, it's going to get better as the evening moves on, but this is tough stuff out here with this humidity.
It really is. The thing about playing in this type of weather right now is you want to make sure you don't overdo it in the pregame. You want to go out there and you want to do the things you need to do to get prepared to play. You want to make sure you stretch and you run around, but you can lose it in the pregame. So you want to make sure that you're well hydrated, not too much water, because you'll go out there bloated and end up being a little bit too heavy out there. But you want to make sure you calm it down a little bit, because emotions are going to be more important than the physical things in the pregame. So what you want to do is make sure you go out there and you're not too excited emotionally, but you got to calm it down a little bit physically, because you don't want to be drained in pregame.